Danny Dyer is doing a new program about getting celebrities and putting them into complete darkness. And that's a new program. And it made me think to myself, blind people and art. The appreciation of art and how one of their senses are taken away. How do they appreciate art? I started talking to my mum about it, and she quite rightly was saying to me, well, it kind of depends on the blindness that they actually have. Were they born completely blind, or did it deplete itself over X amount of time? So therefore, when you say oranges and colours like and waves, then they'll have probably remembered those images. But for someone that has never seen anything, how how would you explain an abstract painting to someone that's been born blind? So I started thinking to myself, being the kind of person that I am, and I thought you you would train their senses in relationship to the colours. So, for instance, red, not being sick or anything, but don't stick their hand on a hot stove, but you just kind of let them resonate. Red feels like that. Blue feels like water, cold, put their hand into cold moving water and say that's a sea, that's what it feels like. So what I was kind of thinking is, if you could train a completely blind person the senses, then you could go and express, say for instance, the painting up there that I've got, which is basically about shipwrecked people. And I could say it's called Fire on the Horizon, and there's a shipwreck, and they've jumped off ship, and these guys have actually got to shore, and they're okay. So you explain it in terms of it's hot on the you couldn't even say the horizon or whatever, but also, you would obviously go into sensory perceptions of texture and touch, and that's how they would feel things. And that would go to, like I said, the colours. So that's hot, and that's cold, and ice cold. You say this is Iceland scene. It must be so difficult. I'm actually I've done this little painting behind me called Into the Light. And it's kind of a painting of jellyfish going up into the light. And when I showed it to a friend of mine, she said, this is how perceptions change. She said that she felt like she was on a dissecting table with aliens looking over her. And I was like, that's completely not what I was trying to portray. But it just kind of shows how sensory perceptions and visual perceptions can change. And going back to this appreciation of art, by being completely blind, obviously sculpture, and then smell, but how would you know? The smell would be making you feel something. And so when you're explaining about a painting, maybe you have to look at painting for a blind person and put it into the other dimensions within that painting. So, for instance, not only would it be a painting whereby you could express and explain to the person on the left hand side it's really hot and warm and it's moving into cooler waters and then it's crashed, and then they can feel that as you're explaining it texturally and also sensory smell. So maybe you could start looking at creating artwork. I shouldn't be saying this because Damien Hirst will be out there and he'll be spinning it around and going, Damien, it's my idea, Damien. Yeah, well, you saw it here first. Try and create maybe some artwork that resonates to people that are neglect in certain sensories, whether it be visual, like I've just said, or smell. Not asking them to taste it, eat the artwork, or anything like that. But you can see where I'm actually coming from. And I think that's really quite important that, we're talking about inclusion, equality. And maybe we should also be looking at that. Because as far as I can see at the moment, well, that's not really looking after people that can't see, can't touch, can't appreciate, engage in art. Because all of it is down to you and your bank account and what you can get out of it. So well done to those people out there that are creating for money. I hope you are very, very successful. But for me, for everyone else out there, I would rather create for those people so that they appreciate what I go through to make them hopefully feel better, for me to feel better. Symbiotic relationship. I'm not doing it for that. If that comes, I am a starving artist. That's just the way that we are. But I'm not going to fall into the remit of being a commercial money-making artist. Now, if money comes from what I create, like Peter Doig, love Peter Doig, he just does art. One of the biggest, highest-selling living artists at a particular time. And there's a big story about how he went and sold his artwork. Really excited, starving artist, sold it for £10,000. Collector got it, put it into auction, and then sold it for 35 million. And Channel 4 interviewed him and said, how do you feel about that? And he quite rightly said, I can't imagine anyone would pay that amount of money for my artwork, because I did it to express a feeling, an emotion, and I hope that it ingratiated with people and they, enjoyed it. But he's not expecting that amount of money back. But what it did do is every other subsequent artwork escalated in value that he would do. So he would profit from it. But his initial intent was not monetary. And that cannot be said for a lot of other artists out there, or inverted commas artists, piss artists, money imps, international money profiteers. That's what they're all about. Imps. There's too many of them,
160 million.
especially in the art market.
The Marilyn at 160 million. Here it is at $170 million.
This is going to wrap up, move
170
over
is
to
bid.
lots of other channels.
Here it is then, the gentleman's bid, ladies and gentlemen,
lots
at
of other
170
videos
million for the
that I'm gonna be
Warhol.
doing about the
It's
art
selling
market.
here
It doesn't just stop.
$170 million.
You need to become become a subscribee.
Mark's bidder 34 million, 35 million, 36 million with Loic, 37 million against you.
Enjoy
Loic,
yourselves
37,
this evening.
40 million,
or
Amy's
today,
bidder at 40
this
million.
morning, whatever
Four of
time
you in a huddle
it is,
there at 40 million.
And remember,
41, 2, $42 million. Mark's bidder now at 42 million.
It, enjoy it.
43 million with Amy now.
At
$43 million against you, Mark, at 43, 44 million. Mark's bidder at 44 million now. At $44 million. With Mark at 44 million. At $44 million. Mark's bidder, 45 million. 46 million. Still against you, Amy, at $46 million. At 46 million now. Mark's bidder at 46. Against you, Amy. At 46 million. Against the room. 46,500,000. Spirited bid there at 46,500,000. 47 million with Mark at 47 million. Against you, Brett.